Welcome to the Campfire. Today we are taking a deep dive into District 10-5A Division 1. The teams in this 9-team district are Angleton, Kempner, Friendswood, Fulshear, Magnolia West, Manville, Foster, and Terry. Let's start off by analyzing these teams in our film session. When the UIL announced this district during the last realignment, it felt like a hodgepodge district where schools from North Houston were paired with schools from way down south. But one thing was evident: this was a highly competitive district and will be the same in 2023. Manville, who finished third last year, welcomes back Kirk Martin as head coach as he returns after 5 years of coaching elsewhere. Martin led the Mavericks to 2 state title appearances in 10 years and inherits possibly the best defensive team in the district. He'll look to get the offense on track so the Mavericks can make another run. Last year's co-district champions, Angleton and Fulshear, hope to have big years again. The Chargers graduated a lot of their passing attack, but do return district offensive MVP Davion Godley in the backfield. Angleton shocked many with their 7-1 district record, but they bring back safety Jaden Pettaway on their defense. Magnolia West had one of the better defenses in the district and will look to try newcomer of the year Brandon Mills to help them continue the trend. Magnolia struggled at 3-7 on the year, but Hunter Andrews will be the starting running back for the third consecutive year. Foster missed out on the postseason due to a tiebreaker. The Falcons will not only be missing bruising running back Ashton Ojoku, but also head coach Sean McDowell, who moved on to Grand Oaks during the offseason. Friendswood returns Caleb Allen on the defensive line as they try to make a playoff push, while Terry and Kempner will attempt to improve on seasons where they both averaged under 7 points a game. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Do you or your student want a career training the world's best athletes? Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. For an even deeper look at 10-5A Division 1, here's producer Ward Fasold and the Houston Chronicle's John Foreman with the district breakdown.
All right, it's district breakdown time. 10-5A Division 1, the last of our 5A districts. And we are joined with John Foreman from the Houston Chronicle. John, last year this district was a mad dash to the finish. You know, there's 5 teams were fighting for 4 spots, and Foster ended up being the odd team out, even though they tied for the last spot. How do you think this district's going to play out this year?
Yeah, we were. Everybody was really excited and intrigued by this district just because of the number of perennial playoff contenders that we had going into it after realignment. Obviously, and it was also interesting to see, some of the teams on the Southwest side, be paired up with, the Magnolias, and then, you had Friendswood coming over, and so it was a really interesting district with some really good football teams. As you mentioned, it came down, all the way to the end. At first, it was looking like Foster was going to run away with the district title early on in the district schedule, and then they ended up not making the playoffs at all. So that just shows you the competition level that we had across the board. And I would expect more of the same coming into this year. Obviously, the big surprise there was Fulshear, and maybe not a surprise, but a team that has really been on the rise after they made their first playoff appearance in 2021. They really took it to the next level this season, went 11-2, 7-1, tied Angleton for the district title. So that was a team that, obviously everybody knows, they put up 616 total points. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, just a ridiculous effort from them.
So you're saying it's going to be another mad dash to the end?
It's looking that way.
Well, I'm ready for it.
Yeah. Yep.
That's going to do it for 5A. We're going to move on to 6A next week, and we'll talk about Sean McDowell as we go right to 13-6A, and that's where he's at now. And that's a 9-team district, and it's probably got the 1 or 2 of the best players in the state in that district for sure.
Yeah. Up in Montgomery County, my old stomping ground, so quite familiar with this district.
So we're going to expect at least an hour-long district breakdown as he talks about all his old buddies.
Probably could.
All right, John, I appreciate it. I'll see you next week.
All right, see ya.
We'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. Now let's take a look at some game changers and our players on the rise presented by Parker University. Fulshear put up some serious offense last year, and running back Davion Godley had a lot to do with it. The offensive MVP rushed for over 2,100 yards and scored 24 touchdowns on the ground. Godley runs a 4.45 40, which helped him average over 9 yards per carry. As the Chargers break in a new quarterback, look for Davion to carry a bulk of the offensive duties early on. Magnolia's Hunter Andrews will be a 3-year starter at running back in 2023. The 6'2", 215-pound running back rushed for 921 yards for the Bulldogs and 10 touchdowns. He also played linebacker when called upon. Andrews is the experienced back Magnolia needs to bounce back from a 3-win season. Hunter has offers from Air Force, Colorado State, and Louisiana Tech, among others. Manville's Mason Fleming was near impossible to block for the Mavericks. Fleming tallied 9 sacks as his quickness off the ball got him to the quarterback before he even saw it coming. Mason also had 31 tackles and 4.5 tackles for loss as he helped plug up holes for the Mavericks. Fleming has received offers from Lamar, Arkansas State, and Tulsa, among others. Another member of a stacked Manville defense is linebacker Caleb Blanton. If ball carriers got through the first line of defense, Blanton was there to help bring him down. Caleb had 106 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and an interception for the Mavericks last year. His junior year was considered a breakout season for KB, so a lot is expected from Blanton as a senior. He verbally committed to Rice in April. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. Our Ward Fasol caught up to Magnolia head coach Craig Martin to talk about his Bulldogs in our Media Day segment.
All right, it's Media Day, and we are joined with Magnolia head coach Craig Martin, and we're talking about 10-5A Division I, one of the more competitive Division I 5A districts in the state of Texas, especially in Houston. There's only the 2 really Division I ones in Houston, but you guys were so competitive last year, that district top to bottom. Talk about how you think it's going to plan out. I mean, you got thrown into a district that you weren't, it's kind of a hodgepodge of teams if you look at the way you all put it. Now that you've gone through it in a year, what are you expecting for next year?
Unfortunately, I expect the same thing. There's going to be some really good football teams that get left at home at the end of it. That's for sure. We kind of felt like we were one of those this past year, and I know Foster felt that way too. It'll be another barn burner. And then we've got some new coaches in place too. Kirk showing back up at Manville. We're all excited about, right? And Shane taking over at Foster, they'll keep that program rolling, and Jordan, coming back home to Friendswood will certainly spark them as well. So it'll be another slugfest. That's what we're expecting.
The running game seems like it's going to be a strength of yours, especially with Hunter coming back. You got a couple offensive linemen returning for sure.
Sure.
Talk about how you feel about the offensive lineman, the offense, especially since you're going to have to replace Montana at quarterback, but you still have. He's got to be a 3-year starter now, Hunter Andrews.
Yeah, sure. I think it's always difficult when you have to break in a new quarterback, for sure. And we'll see how that battle shakes out, over the spring and over the summer. But having experience back on your O-line is big. We really have, four guys coming back that played, considerable amounts of time there. And the challenge now is to create some depth. Offensive line is one of those spots where guys get dinged up too. And so, we're trying to make sure that we create some depth. Having, Hunter Andrews back, having a Gage Sanders back, our tight end fullback, those things are all key pieces for us that will help take some of the pressure away off of our quarterback. And then we feel like we've got some good choices in our receiving core. The challenge for us will be seeing what those guys look like when the Friday night lights really do turn on. But we feel like we've got some good candidates there. We're capable, and now we just got to get ourselves, a lot better than we are right now.
Hey, Coach, thank you for joining us, man. I know it's way too early, but hey, it's Texas. We're going to talk about this. That's how it goes.
Hey, it's always football season.
Exactly. All right, good luck this year, and we'll talk to you down the line.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
You can also catch the entire interview Friday on our social media channels. That's going to do it for this week's Campfire. Next week, we begin our coverage of 6A football, starting with 13 6A. Until then, have a great week, everybody.